My wife left me for a rich man who dumped her when his wife found out. Now she's begging to come back, but I told her to live with her choice. Hello Reddit I plus here. It had been a few months since the day she walked out of my life. The woman I thought I'd spend forever with had left, not for some trivial reason, but for him. A man who had everything I didn't. He was wealthy, powerful, and had the kind of charm that could pull a woman into his web without her even realizing it. My wife, Claire, had fallen for him, and as far as I could tell, she thought he would leave his wife for her. She always said it wasn't about money. I want love, she'd claim. I want passion, something real, but I knew the truth. I wasn't enough for her anymore. She wanted what he could offer, luxury, fame, the high life, and I was just the guy who got left behind in the dust. I wasn't stupid. I saw the signs. The late nights, the mysterious phone calls, the way she'd smile at her phone as though there was a secret between them. And when I confronted her about it, she denied everything, of course, but deep down, I knew. One night, after a heated argument where she insisted I didn't understand her, she packed her bags and walked out. No drama, no yelling, just the sound of the front door clicking shut. I stood there, staring at the space where her shoes had been, empty now. She was gone. Weeks passed. I went through the motions, work, gym, a little drinking, trying to keep my head above water. Then came the news, the one I had dreaded but knew was coming. Claire was with him, the rich man, and she was convinced he would leave his wife. She called me, sounding fragile, like she had lost a part of herself in the chase. But she swore, with the same conviction she once had for our love, that he was going to leave her wife for her. She told me, he's going to choose me. I just need to give it time. But time had other plans. A month into her affair, I heard the rumors. She had been seen with him at exclusive restaurants, parties, everything she ever dreamed of. She was living the life I could never provide for her. But then, something changed. The whispers on the street got louder, and when I got the call that morning, I knew it was over. He had dropped her. Not with a heartfelt conversation, not with any kind of explanation. He simply stopped answering her calls, stopped returning her texts. Claire, the woman who had everything planned out, found herself on the other side of a cold, emotionless exit. The rich man, he had discarded her, just like that. And now, she was crawling back to me. I didn't know what to expect when I first saw her standing at my door, tears in her eyes, hair messy from the sleepless nights she had undoubtedly endured. She had been through it. Long enough to know what rejection felt like. Long enough to understand that she wasn't the one anymore. She stood there, trembling, as if waiting for me to say something. Anything. I know what I did, she said quietly. I was selfish. I thought I could have it all, but now I see that I was wrong. I'm sorry and I want to come home. Her words hung in the air, but the truth was, I had already made up my mind the moment she left me. The second she chose him over me. And the second she chose a life of uncertainty over the life we had built together, I realized how little she valued what we had. So when she showed up at my doorstep, I wasn't angry. I wasn't filled with bitterness. I was just indifferent. You made your choice, I told her, my voice steady. Now live with it. She flinched, the words cutting through her like a knife. I could see the desperation in her eyes, the way she wanted to convince me that everything had changed. But it was too late. I wasn't the person I was when she walked out. The man she left behind had grown into someone who had learned a hard lesson about love and betrayal. She begged, pleaded with me, tried every tactic she could think of, promises of change, apologies, even breaking down in front of me, tears streaming down her face. But no matter how many times she knocked on my door or sent texts late at night asking for a chance to talk, my answer remained the same. The truth was, I didn't recognize the woman standing before me anymore. She had become someone else, someone willing to trade our love for the fleeting chance at a life that didn't exist. I wasn't about to let her destroy the person I had become. So I stood my ground, unwavering. Days passed. She still showed up, knocking on my door at the oddest hours, calling me at midnight, sending messages that made me want to just shut everything down. But I wouldn't give in. She had made her choice. Now she had to live with it. One night, I sat in the living room, the sound of her familiar knock echoing through the silence. This time, I didn't move to answer. I didn't feel the need to. My life had moved on. And I had learned that sometimes, Letting go was the only way to regain your peace. In the end, I closed the door. On her, on the past, and on a life I once thought was meant to be. She had chosen him. Now, she would have to live with that decision, just like I was living with mine. And for the first time in months, I felt free. She didn't stop showing up. Every time I thought it was over, she came back, knocking, texting, even leaving letters at my door. But I stayed firm. The more she begged, the clearer it became. She wasn't sorry for what she had done. She was sorry she had been left behind. One night, I saw her standing there again, her hands trembling as she reached for the doorbell. I didn't even feel anger anymore, just a quiet resolve. I can't fix what we had, I told her, staring at her like a stranger. You burned that bridge. Now you need to live with it, she cried, but I wasn't moved. Not this time. I didn't open the door, I just turned away, and for the first time in a long while, I felt completely at peace. She didn't come back after that, and I didn't look back either.